괊ᴇ day, it is message and bands. 괊ᴇ morning, 괊ᴇ afternoon, whatever 괊ᴇ may be working the best for you. It's Gyepi. I'm glad to have finally checked what visual novel demos I would be happy to check out, because I actually happened to forget I was truly looking forward to this visual novel, and I did not know that the demo is there for me to try out. So we're gonna go through SAIN SHEOL demo today. I am truly looking forward to this game. I'm super excited about it, and already just by hearing the background music, I feel like I'm gonna suffer a lot. I feel like I'm ready to cry and go crazy over this game. We're gonna see how it goes too. Give me a moment so I can connect the game here, because it decided to tilt on us for some reason. Does it work? Does it not? Oh! Okay. The classic crash of the game before the stream, and now we're gonna begin. I do apologize for this cough. I need to get undusted this putter, but did not get the chance to take it yet, for it to be taken care of. So, if I recall properly, I did disable the gruesome scenes to be able to stream it safely. Display scenes with gore on, off. No, wait. It's off, okay. No gore allowed on my stream. I just noticed that the loading screen is Gyepi watching a Gyepi stream. It is Gyepi streaming, indeed. Give me a moment so I can make it work. Stupid Streamlabs, not willing to cooperate. Hi Rin, how are you doing? Why did it decide to not work? Well, I'm gonna do it in another way. Okay, there we go. I'm fine, you're doing good, quite excited to try out this demo, very curious about it. So we do be ready, Cinnamon Buns. My brain cell is not ready, but still, it's going brrr, because I'm super curious. So, let's begin. Let me know in case the audio is too loud for you, okay? Actually, I'm gonna lower it a tiny bit for me. Just a tiny bit. Oh, this game, I saw the demo but wasn't sure if it was good or not. I honestly viewed the trailer of this visual novel and I'm truly looking forward to it. But yeah, let's see what it is about. Let's begin. My name is Belial. I'm gonna insert my name. My name is Gyepi. Is Gyepi your name? Yes. The pre-dawn sky was dusky, partly due to the heavy metal particles polluting the air. The inside of the station was packed with crowds of people coming and going. I wondered how much longer we would be plagued by this heavy fog, a thick haze that had shrouded the world around me since I left early this morning. Despite being midsummer, the ever-present gloom meant everyone around me was bundled up in thick overcoats. The unexpected chill in the air left me shivering on the platform in my lighter clothing as I waited for the train's arrival. The voice of the train conductor reaches my ears from somewhere nearby, cutting through the somber atmosphere. The station in the capital is not a place you can stay in for very long. The dust in the air from the coal left my voice hoarse and dry, and my body quickly froze from the blustery chill. And with so many people rushing here and there, I found myself worrying about potentially missing my train if I didn't stay sharp. He's in a shirt while everyone else is dressed for autumn weather. So I hurried along in an attempt to make sure that didn't happen. a tragedy happened about 2000 years ago that turned heaven and earth upside down. In the blink of an eye, the world found itself at the mercy of a series of natural disasters and a pandemic later known as pestis. Earth's population were unable to survive in the decay and corruption left in its wake. Following pestis, one man discovered a strange mark on his body that had appeared out of nowhere. Whether due to the mark or not, he received a message from God, along with the power and knowledge to restore the world to how it once was. From then on, everyone born in this new world was marked by the same scar, which came to be known as stigmata. It's said one's power can be seen in the number of marks on their body. Or at least, that's what I heard from the town elders, so who knows how much truth there is to that. At any rate, I grew up in a small communal settlement in the most northern part of the 6 great continents following the reconstruction of civilization. Unlike in the capital, where pollution makes it impossible to tell the passage of day and night, the sun always shone brightly over the village I was raised in. The resident of a wasteland, this desolate, would most likely quickly perish. The last heir of a long-forgotten civilization, but also the descendant of a small tribe from some nameless scrap of land in the middle of nowhere. That's me. I left that village, which had grown tiresome in its familiarity, for the capital, a faraway place I'd always dreamed of. Hi Juju, welcome, how are you doing? I found it impossible to befriend the folks in my town, who all looked the same and shared the same boring opinions. Not to say that I was an only child, but the age disparity between my siblings and I was simply too great. Either they were old enough to have children of their own, or were literal babies themselves. I was the only young man of marriageable age. The rest, having long since lost their minds or various parts of their bodies over the years, were simply not capable of taking on a leadership position. And so the folks in town wanted to place the future of the village on my seemingly capable shoulders. While I fully understand why they came to this decision, it was enough to convince me to rot away in this godforsaken place, listening to the others' incessant preaching. Doing good, what about you? I'm doing goody, thank you. Surrounded by grandpas and grandmas, aunts and uncles, family member upon family member, in a veritable sea of relatives, well, the folks here are so deeply immersed in tradition that it's impossible for them to embrace anything new, like tepid water festering in a well. That small village was all I knew growing up, and it wasn't long before I grew sick and tired of being constantly surrounded by the same old faces. Totally understandable. I grown bored of waking up every morning in a cramped warehouse, wondering if today will be the day that the prophet will appear. Go to the capital. Those words plagued my every waking thought over the past 7 years, and yet I had nothing to show for it. Other than the well-worn pages of a book, history of the great northern continent, and countless wasted days and weeks and months. If I'd been in the capital, I could have bought a house, got married, and settled down to start building a happy family life. With a partner who I choose to spend the rest of my life with, instead of someone decided for me by the village elders. Each time I was forced to hold the shriveled up hand of another old geezer on his deathbed. I felt almost suffocated by the thought that I, too, might spend my entire life rotting in a stagnant hole like this one. And that, even after death, my body would be cremated alongside my brothers and sisters. My soul lay to rest for eternity in a mass grave, surrounded by the same folks I'd been stuck with while alive. Then one day, I was blessed by a miracle. Due to the brutal heat and humidity, our crops were withering to nothing, and we were insanely busy trying to deal with it. Which is when our mysterious visitor suddenly appeared. He was a dark-skinned man with bright blue eyes, his cheeks speckled with multitudes of stigmata. He asked if I'd come with him to work at the temple in the capital, and I gladly took him up on his offer. I honestly felt like jumping for joy. This was my chance, my one and only chance to escape from this suffocatingly small town. Which is what ultimately led me to moving to the capital. Oh, a girl. The train heading to the capital was incredibly crowded. Luckily, I was able to find an empty seat almost immediately, affording me the opportunity to set my heavy luggage down, only to accidentally knock over someone else's belongings with my own. I heard a small gasp, the other person clearly as surprised as I was. I turned to see a girl much smaller than me. And also that I wondered how she had the strength to lug those giant bags around. I reflexively snatched up my own luggage and took a few steps back. With her shoulders slightly bunched up around her ears, she glanced between the seat and myself before finally sitting down. The girl with the light pink hair, her cheeks flushed a bright red, kept her gaze averted toward the ground. Unsure if she was still concerned about what had happened, I kept her in my sights through the ensuing chaos on the train. It feels so calm to read through this visual novel so far. Without a word of warning, the sound of a nearby train signal announced our arrival, and a flood of passengers surged towards the doors. Just before the crowd swept me away, our eyes met for a split second. With a small nod, I just barely caught her lips move. Probably a word of thanks. I found myself forced along by the tide of clearly very busy people with places to go. There was a long line in front of the building I eventually wound up at. It's meant to be a checkpoint of sorts. Seeing the person in the cramped room on the other side of the window dressed in monk's robes, I was momentarily reminded of the sacrament of penance. I stood there silently as their eyes scanned me from head to toe before ordering me to wait. The inspector left the cramped room before being replaced a few moments later by a mild-mannered woman. Unlike the previous inspector, this brown-haired lady was not dressed in robes. Looks cozy and pretty. You must be new here. What's your name? Gyepi, was it? My, what an interesting name. What would you like me to call you? Your nickname? What is my nickname again? I don't have one. Let's go with Gyeps. Is Gyeps what you want to be called? No, but let's pretend it is. Now let's see here. Ah yes, your name is on the list of arrivals for today. The lady with the sweet-sounding voice handed me a piece of paper in a well-practiced manner. I caught a glimpse of her stigmata under her sleeve on her writing hand. Who exactly is she? Can you show me the stigmata on your body? I confidently show her the palms of my hands, and she responds with a warm smile. You're pretty confident, huh? That's a good trait to have. So, for a boy with hair as black as yours, I'm surprised you don't have more. Is two not that many? Here in the capital, youngsters with black hair like yours tend to wield considerable power, which is probably why they're few and far between. Really, I had black hair my entire life, and this is the first I've heard of this. It's just a silly belief some people have. Folks living in the capital tend to view the world through a lens of gossip and BS. You could easily become a citywide sensation overnight. Well done, Gyepi of the health department, welcome. I'm sorry, I'm part of the what department now? Confident and funny, you've got it all. I'm sure you'll figure out everything you need to know during your first day here. You must be exhausted after your long journey. Make sure you get a good night's rest. The dorms are located behind this building. It's pretty hard to get lost, but... Think you can make it on your own? I'm pretty good at finding my way around. Thanks, though. Are you some kind of administrator here? I'm just an old lady. This is where we say goodbye, Gyeps. Best of luck in your future. She doesn't look old. That's when I took my first step into the underworld. Happy SAIN SHEOL. Oh, the opening that I did see before. So wait on Steam. It's so cute. Like, it's particular. I love how they combined this gothic elegant aesthetic with cute vibes. And the cute horror vibes also overall. The character sprites are so pretty. I truly feel like I'm gonna love this game, but I wonder how much I will have to suffer. I don't know, I just have that feel. Day 1. Wow. Didn't we state that gore details will not be shown? I take a step forward, my foot sinks into the wet ground, pretending not to notice. I keep going, dislodging the corner of my shoe from the mud. The more I walk, the heavier my feet get. I let out a breath I've been holding in. Pain, intense, like my lungs are being twisted about. My head is soaked too, despite there being no rain. I know how long I've run. Eventually, someone grasped my sweat-soaked hand. I grip the hand in return and pull on it more firmly. The girl, who is also out of breath, calls my name. What the hell? Eek! The girl from before? From the train? Huh? Snapping out of my reverie, I frantically look around, trying to get a read on the situation. Yes, this is the temple dorm that I'd be staying in from now on. Welcome in, Night Doctor. Thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoy your stay. Yes, this is the temple dorm that I'd be staying in from now on. I wasted no time falling asleep after putting away my things. And in front of me, it's a cute girl. Oh, a cute girl it is. I can process any of this. I wonder if we were blacked out or what before too. What? Well, yeah. They said new workers are to assemble in their departments in 30 minutes. Oh, I see. The girl hurries out of the room before I can even say hello. And so I've been left alone here in my room. I hear her footsteps pattering away down the hall. Honestly, the design of this game and the vibes so far, not the one that we saw in the opening, but the vibe here overall does remind me of that Girls Love visual novel by ⴰᴰᴜ. The gothic one, that we did play through on stream as well. I look out the window. The sun is already up. What time is it? I start searching my things, which are still a complete mess for my habit. All who come of age are considered adults and are given the right to start working. If I'd lived in the capital, my coming of age ceremony would have been a year ago. Still, as of today, I was a respectable member of society. The first thing I noticed upon coming here was how my appearance was a little unusual compared to the people here. Everyone in my homeland had similar skin and hair color, but People in the capital all seemed paler and slenderer. By my standards, they looked much more unusual than me. In any case, whenever someone passed me, they looked at me in surprise. I guess I'm the unusual one here. The girl before did the same thing. I thought I just startled her by appearing there suddenly, I don't know. That's weird, I feel like I've seen her before maybe. Have we met somewhere on the train? Strangely, I'm feeling deja vu towards her. I can't get rid of the feeling. Maybe I figure it out if we meet again. I head outside my room, which is still dark. Dormitory. What should I do? First day of the heat moon, morning. Go to work. And that is me. Great, time to pump myself up for another day. So we do have a face here. Cool. I really like also the transitions, how they are made. Temple lobby. I head further in, where everything is just as dark, weird, and open a door. A very specific stench attacks my nose. It's like they covered up the musty smell of old wallpaper and dust with a deodorizer or something. I even catch a whiff of rotten food. It's actually a little difficult for me to handle. I can feel it in my bones. This place is different from the others. I'm not surprised. It's cordoned off from everywhere else like it is. I go inside as a girl with a small frame quickly turns around at the sound of the door having opened. She scolds, then scampers noisily over to me. What's with you? You're late, and your clothes. Is it supposed to be some kind of a joke? Oh, she looks so cool. I like her hairstyle. Tiny. Love the hair and the freckles. And the sharp eyes. What's wrong with my clothes? Why do you have all those strange decorations all over your habit? Cause I thought they were cool. How is anyone supposed to wear that stuffy outfit every single day anyway? Stuffy? You're about to cross along with your frivolous games, you know? Who in the world are you anyway? They said we'd be getting someone accepted to the magic department on a waiver, but that black on black is all I can see. What? Her incredibly rude behavior takes me aback, just a little, as I suddenly catch the strong smell of perfume behind me. A blonde girl appears out of nowhere, gets close to me, and grabs hold of my arm. Who's that? Oh, come on! Fighting on his first day. Please don't bully him too much, alright? He's... isn't he? Something has been bothering me ever since I got on that train. At first I figured it was just a difference in pronunciation or accent, but apparently the language they use here in the capital is fairly different than the one where I come from. I can still make some of it out, but when people talk quickly and quietly like that, I can keep up with it. In fact, they just mentioned their names, but I couldn't quite make them out. I'm not used to the way they pronounce things here. Well, it probably come to me the more time we spend together. For now, I remember them as Chairwoman and Blondie. Chairwoman and Blondie too. That will get me through this conversation at least, but if I mishear something important later on, it could be pretty bad on my end. For now, I can sort of tell that the short Chairwoman and the tall Blondie are friends. Chairwoman is ranting and raving as Blondie smiles, pats me on the back and takes a step away. For an instant, for some reason, that gives me an awful chill. Anyway, isn't this supposed to be where orientation is? Are you newbies too? What? Who are you calling a newbie? We've been here a little longer than you, so we have seniority. I'm just here because this girl said she didn't want to go alone. Oh, the one from before. She pulls a very pink girl over. I didn't even notice her before. Very pink girl. The new girl stands there awkwardly in front of me. She has a little side that sounds anxious and keeps her eyes down, only occasionally glancing up at me. And once again, I can't help but feel like I've seen her before. This morning did... Anyway, yeah, I'm here, big sis. Wait, you look nothing alike. That's because we're stepsisters? Hey, would you say something? I know you can at least introduce yourself. I'm Maya Albath. Pleased to meet you. Right? Maya's all scared. Is it because she's talking to a man? That's adorable. No, I told you she's always been like this, even back home, remember? My name is Gyepi. Thanks for this morning. I mean, I guess I'm older, but pleased to meet you, nonetheless. It's only by 1 year, anyway. The difference is nothing when it comes to working here. Both of you are essentially babies. Gyepi, huh? That's a rather unusual name. Hey, Keps, did you know what it is we do here before you came? What do you do here? That apparently struck Blondie as pretty funny since she stares cackling, mouth wide open. The other gives an exasperated sniff. Are you sure you're not in the wrong place? That's not what I meant. I was told this was where I'd get an explanation. Hey, I know this kid's alright, but just explain it to him already. Ba-bam, ba-bam. Thank you for the headbutt. Haha, Thunder Dude, how are you doing? How is you? Hey, I know this kid's alright, but just explain it to him already. Fine. But I'll only say it once, got it? Maya, make sure you listen to this again. I'm OP, how are you? I'm doing goody. I do be curious to how this game is. It looks pretty cool to me. As everyone chuckles, Maya, the only one with an uneasy expression, nods along with me. During the explanation, I get distracted by how Blondie, who stood next to me, keeps looking at me and laughing. But in essence, this is how it is. This temple is called SAIN SHEOL. It was established in the center of the Korea to save people from pests using power granted by God. Each of the 6 continents possesses a similar temple administered by the cardinals of each region. Here, SAIN SHEOL is divided into 4 departments, each under the purview of a bishop. The Magic Department, the Academics Department, the Health Department, and the Cleanup Department. Of the 6 temples, SAIN SHEOL is the only one with an establishment department for cleanup, which is what we're assigned to. We're essentially the cleanup crew that makes sure the nation's cogs keep turning. And after a week of training, we'll be acknowledged as official members of the clergy. I wanted to make sure I understood everything properly, but it didn't seem like they'd answer me outright. Without a choice, I save my questions for later and try to organize all the new information in my head. I see, well, thanks. Are Maya and I only new workers today? This department is always understaffed, but we get new people at the end of every month. Like little by little, on a regular basis, that sort of thing. Oh, did you want to meet the other boys and girls? Don't worry about that, you'll be able to soon. I've got plenty of friends to introduce you to. I hear the door open again. The 2 of them break off the idle conversation they were lapsing into. Chairwoman's face crunches up at the sight of him. Oh, why? If it isn't Securet, weren't you busy? What are you doing here? Blondie approaches him first, but the boy doesn't even spare a glance for her. Instead, he sets a stare directly at me. Wait, I thought only new members could come in here. That's what I want to ask. Why are you here? The bishop is unable to come today. She's a busy woman. I'm just here in her place. They don't seem like they're friends. The chairwoman glares at him for cutting her off, but purposely doesn't say anything in response. The short conversation seems like it's over already. The one Blondie called Securet comes over to us and looks me up and down. Didn't look like blonde to me. I see it more as a silver, purplish tone. No, wait. The blondie from before called secret. Goodness. Brain cell got twisted. Comes over to us and looks me up and down. Ever done this kind of work before? There's no point asking that. He literally didn't know anything about it. In fact, I just finished telling him what it is we do here at the temple. Secret, would you be so kind as to show this to the proverbial robes? What? The bishop left this task in your hands, didn't she? I hardly doubt you were planning on pushing such an important and crucial job onto us. Yes, that's right. We have to get to work ourselves. Thank you for this, temp assistant bishop. They'd be angry. The boy says nothing as the two girls go past him towards the door. That one's my little sister, so you'd better do a good job of teaching her. One of them makes a final demand before exiting the room. The other casually turns to us and waves before leaving. I wave back, not really thinking about it, but a moment later I come to my senses and turn around. So I'm now here, left with the angry boy. The boy is still here, and he's got his eyes narrowed into a severe glare. Finally he heaves a sigh and gestures for us to come with him. Temple corridor. As we exit the stairs onto an upper passage, the sound of our footfalls along the floor becomes awfully loud. Does everyone here wear boots with heels or something? Even outside, the sun is still below the horizon. The gaudy stained glass on the hallway's wall reflects the dulled light of the sky, coloring the entire building with a pure light blue tone. It almost looks like sunrise. What time is it even? Does the sun not rise in the capital or something? It's the polar night right now. The polar night? It's the time of year when the sun doesn't rise during the day, so it's always nighttime. Goodness! Really? Maya, you're pretty smart, huh? Does it mean it's going to stay this cold? I suppose, do you not like being cold, Caps? I come from a warm place, so I can't quite get used to it. Wait, did you just call me Gaps? Well, I like calling people nicknames, so would you rather I not? No, not at all, I like it. Feel free to call me anything you want. Oh, good. She was blushing, wasn't she? I saw that. Barely, but I saw that. Separate, right? If it's alright with you, would you mind if I called you Red? Oh. Yes, I'd mind quite a bit. Wah! Hey, look how hard Maya is trying to talk to you. You could at least be a little nicer. You're the Gips, I am indeed. They asked me what would be my nickname. So it was like... let's input Gaps, I guess. Even though I'm not sure about it, but okay. Without turning around, he takes out a binder. The papers inside were written using a typewriter. On them are designated places, ranging from simple addresses to nonsensical sequences of numbers. The Gyepi. The papers inside were written using a typewriter. On them are designated places ranging from simple addresses to nonsensical sequences of numbers. Several of them have been checked off in red ink. Record the work you each perform in here. It's fine to simply observe since it's your first day, but starting tomorrow, you have to actually do the work and write it in here. What kind of work is it? Secret says nothing to us, instead quickening his steps and turning the corner, going past the checkpoint. One look at the white rosary around my neck, and the examiner suddenly lets us through. Hey, I asked what kind of work we're doing. Trailing behind him, I ask once again. He calls nervously. Did I make him mad or something? Slam! Before leaving through the entrance, Secret pulls out a handcart. It clatters slowly on the floor. All sorts of clean supplies, plus a few sacks, are piled upon it. Take this. He says it in a rather high voice, as though his vocal cords haven't been affected by puberty yet. As part of the cleanup department, our jobs are to sanitize the work areas of other departments that get dirty, from exterminating evil spirits to clean up and deal with any reported corpses. Oh, and to exterminate the pests that have been growing in number recently. We also perform preservative treatment on dead bodies, assist in their funerals and get rid of the lost. Essentially, any troubling work like that, the kind that needs manpower, falls on us. The lost? You don't know about them? After I repeat the unfamiliar word, think about it, Secord stops and turns back around to us. He doesn't reply with an answer. I look at him blankly, after which his gaze shifts to Maya. Apparently she knows about this. I'm the only one who doesn't. She's smart indeed. Seeing that she does, Secord shakes his head and starts walking again. You know how people possess sacred power? Yeah, the stuff needed for the stigmata to appear, right? Yes, it's also called God's only mercy to man. That's just how incomprehensible this power is to people. But what do you think happens to this great sacred power when its vessel dies? I'm guessing it doesn't go away? Correct? Back home, the tradition is to cremate people immediately after they die. Instead of looking upon the faces of the dead, we gaze at the blazing flames, enduring the distinct odor of burning flesh and saying our goodbyes to the fire. I was never happy with that, so one day I asked the big man in the village about it. I just realized it now that he had said something very similar. Human corpses couldn't be returned to heaven without immediately burning their bodies. Otherwise their lingering resentment would remain in this world, and they would become monsters that crawl along the ground. Whoa! The hunks of flesh controlled by that sacred power have no consciousness nor memories. They either continue moving until they run out of energy, or more likely they attack people. They don't have consciousness but still have instincts or something like it. It's up to us to retrieve and deal with them. We never have enough people for it, essentially. We take people in without even checking their number of stigmata or their status in society. The rest of the world doesn't take kindly to us because of it. Since you two are still in training too, you won't be directly sent to the pestis. Instead, you'll probably be doing simple jobs like cleaning. Sugar continues to walk as he explains, his voice flat and disinterested. The code terminology pierces my ears as I travel down the dark path. I'm not completely sure I have an accurate understanding of the terms and explanations I've heard. Next to me, Maya's gait has been growing more and more unsteady. Thinking her feet are tired, I look at her in worry, only to see that she's shaking and her face is as white as a sheet. Doubting exhaustion is the only thing at play, I purposely raise my voice. By the way you describe it, the cleanup department are just slaves of the temple. Perhaps, but its work is necessary to ensure the smooth operation of the country. Residential area. After traveling a bit, he stops in front of a residential building. I can see plenty of signs that people once lived there, but not a single person inside. As I hurry to catch up to him, my foot catches on some kind of flat board. There are several of them sticking out of the ground. They look like signs that are trying to keep people out. Nobody told me about any of this beforehand. Would you just be quiet for a moment? Excuse me? Angry at his cold complaint, my voice becomes rough, but a moment later he smoothly passes a mask to me. Confused I say nothing more and take the mask from him. After he gives another mask to Maya, he starts rolling up his sleeves. Breathe through your nose as little as possible. Secord puts on white rubber gloves that go all the way his elbows, then he puts his own mask on before taking out a relatively large bucket and a few sacks from the hand cart we brought here. Having lived in a harsh place where people died every day, this wasn't my first time seeing corpses. Nevertheless, the sight I witnessed once I passed through the door was a terrible one. Maya gasps and tenses, her body shaking. I step in front of her to block the view. Even though all the white smoke from the disinfectant, I can clearly see the maggots covering the floor like a living sheet. With too much exposure to moisture, the wooden floor has rotted away, and the pieces of the corpse are stuck to it. They began to melt and have already turned black. Flies buzz around the crushed, desecrated skin. Ew. Unable to breathe at the horrific sight, Maya covers her mouth and nearly falls to the ground. Her delicate arms and legs are shaking. I feel so bad for her, and also concerned over what might happen if she really did fall. It's awful. You call this awful? This proof that this person lived. Have some respect. Yeah, sure, maybe, but it's just a dead body now. You're not supposed to show stuff like this in other people's faces. Well, it's also proof that this person died. Cigarette sighs from inside his mask and picks up a sack. I handle this, stand back. If you just stand there, you'll get in the way of my work. It's not a normal thing to say in this situation. I want to argue with him somehow, but more than that, I can leave Maya alone. Because of how stifling the air in there was, the air outside feels awfully refreshing now. Maya leans against me, finally putting one foot in front of the other one with some steadiness. Eventually, the hand softly holding my shoulder squeezes tightly. She's still shaking. Eventually, she lets go and heads over to the wall. Before I can think of something to say, she slowly vomits. There we go. The watery, mostly uncolored contents of her stomach fall from her mouth to the floor in clumps. She then slides down along the wall to the ground, not even a hint of color on her face. Are you alright? I ask, walking up to her to check on her. She bites down her lower lip and groans in pain as she shakes her head. Her eyes are squeezed shut and tears fall quickly from them. I can't do this, she weakly stammers. I said I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to come here at all. Hey, calm down, come on. I use the outside of my mask to wipe the blood from Maya's mouth a little at a time. She was driven here to this polar region, and now she raised her voice in terror. She looked so much smaller now. Sensing my feelings, Maya sniffles and uses her own sleeve to wipe her eyes. I wish I was in your shoes, she says. You get to go to the magic department once your training is over. Despite being inarticulate through her wheezing, her words resonate clearly in my ears. Her eyelids are swollen and red, probably from rubbing them so much. It's rude not having any talent, she goes on. It's really rude, Gibbs. To have nowhere to go. I haven't seen very many girls my age. Plenty of their brothers were around where I used to live, but the sisters were either pretty young or quite a bit older than me. Because of that, I've never even seen a girl crying like this, much less had to comfort one. But there one is, right next to me, just 1 year apart. Words of consolation whirled through my head, only to shatter pointlessly the moment I try to speak. My mind blanks, then gives way to a certain thought. Do people in the capital show children like her out into the real world just because they've technically become adults? I didn't want to become an adult at all, she says, echoing the one question in my otherwise empty head. We weren't prepared for this in the slightest. What were we even supposed to do? Adults are the worst. Her hand, raised high above her, swings down as if to throw something, then lies there trembling. I take that hand and squeeze it. Her hand is much smaller than mine and is covered in tears and snot all the way to her sleeve. There we go, touching the snot. Then I'll help you, I say. Maya's eyes widen as she looks at me. With what? She asks. Her confusion sounds a lot calmer now than before. Her ragged breathing has been steadying out too. I'll just help you, I repeat, no matter what happens and no matter what you need help with. Maya is surprised, but I'm downright shocked. I didn't realize I'd grabbed her hand like that. I release it. As I do, her wide eyes slowly return to normal. That probably calmed her down a little. She looks down like she usually does, then sniffles. Thank you, she says. Sorry about that. No, don't be. I'm the one who should be sorry for worrying you. Gaps, I've thought this since the moment we met, but you really seem to like helping people. From the moment we met? You don't remember? We met on the train coming here. Wait, really? Oh, now that you mention it. So it was here after all. So that's why I felt like I've seen Maya somewhere before. We go back to the house and hear the clatter of the handcart. The empty sacks from before are now full. He must have dealt with the gore inside. I glance to the side, accidentally locking eyes with him. Secret uses a dirty glove to lower his mask, then hands a mop and broom to us, one each. Time to clean up. Ever cleaned before? With rugs, sure. Then could you get the living room looking nice? I picked everything up, so... gotcha. I bet it does stink a lot too. Don't think you can stomach it? No, I'll be fine. You're only human. I won't demand a perfect job on day one. But this is the easy part, so you need to at least do your best with this. Right. Temple corridor. So are we gonna protect her? Starting tomorrow, we'd have to get used to not only seeing dead bodies, but also to touching them. But even with anxiety rising above every other emotion, seeing Maya's face twisted into even more worry than mine naturally made me want to worry about her too. She's never been an active conversationalist, but she's been a lot quieter than she was before. I would have to think over what to talk about with her carefully. As 3 pairs of footfalls and the rolling of heavy handcart reverberate around us, Secret finally breaks the silence. Noon already, huh? This is when the temple has lunchtime. You two go back ahead of me. What shall we do after eating? I guess you should dress up, then go back to your dorms. You're letting us go back? We don't usually make trainees work very late. Didn't you hear about that? Oh. Good thing, too. Also, starting tomorrow, could you ask about work from those girls instead? I was only asked to do this for today, so... Okay, just as I'm about to ask him more about that, he pulls the handcart away with a loud clatter, marking the end of the conversation. He did not let us speak. I didn't even respond to that. He probably made that loud noise on purpose. Small and angry. What a pain! As I watch him grow smaller and smaller in the distance, without bothering to turn back, I curse him under my breath in retaliation. Temple lobby. When Maya and I reach the cafeteria near our department, we find a lot more people around than before. People who give off similar auras are chatting and laughing about pointless things in their assigned groups. As we pass them, their topics sound similar as well, yet they're all different. As we enter, people we've never seen before see us and break out into laughter. The laughter spreads around them in a strange rippling effect. Why do they laugh? Are newbies coming back from their jobs so amusing to them? Apparently, we've earned some popularity in this department. They bombard us with questions and greetings. As we're responding to them, someone behind me softly grabs my shoulder amidst the noise of the room. I'm borrowing him, she says. It's the blonde-haired girl we met this morning, thought so. I feel like she's the liveliest one so far. The scent of her thick perfume seems a little different to me now. Maybe she's been somewhere full of the stench of corpses this entire time. She's been working here this whole time too. The more a girl her age wanted to do herself up, the more she'd probably hate the stench. Even I would refuse to do this if I could. As she tugs on my arm, the nearby boys that had accosted me grin and waved their hands after me. I thought maybe people in the capital would be gloomy and unsociable, but it looks like I was wrong. Thanks for getting me out of that one. You weren't lying when you said a lot of people will be here. You're that tired, huh? Maya! And Gyepi too. lest you forget. Are you okay? Did this buffoon or that other annoying kid bully you or anything? Hey, we weren't bullying her. It's making me dizzy. It wasn't this noisy before, so maybe it's because the sun hasn't come up lately. Everyone's talking about disasters and calamities and such. About what? Those crazy beliefs about the end of the world. All this stuff about this being the 2000th year since that great disaster. I'm so sick of all these superstitious beliefs. Yeah, and we had so many applications for a while when all the apocalyptic rumors about the Great Flood were going around too, didn't we? And those magic department mooks almost worked themselves to death. Wish I could have seen them. They just like rumors, that's all, right? Yeah, right. Anyway, how was work, you two? Pretty rough, yeah? It was more than I expected. Actually, I'm not sure I'm ever gonna get used to it. You might not ever. It's still really rough for us too. The cardinal here was the one who set up this insane department. He's got to be touched in the head or something. The sandwich I was given as my share is the worst sandwich I've ever seen. The bread is hard and cold, and not only is there a complete dearth of any meat on it, the sloppily applied sauce is like nothing I've ever seen before. To make matters even worse, the only thing sandwiched in this sandwich is a slice of lettuce, and I don't know how long it's been sitting out, but it's chewy as rubber. Ew! Is this it? May I say something about it before I can? There's milk too. Wait, hang on, you're telling me this is supposed to fill me up? Oh, be quiet and stop your incessant whining, you're not a child. Everyone here feels the same way without you making a fuss about it. So shut up and eat. How do they survive? I've got a lot of complaints, but I reluctantly force my teeth to bite through the worst bread. Meal time. So it would be blasphemous to call this food and conversation that continue to drag on. I was just wondering what security is like. We left early, so... What? Thanks for making me lose my appetite. Maya, you don't have a thing for that sleazebag, do you? No, it's not that. How old is he? He's pretty small. Actually, are you sure he's male? He's the same age as you, and yes, he doesn't quite seem to fit in here, does he? Apparently he has free stigmata. Is that amazing? I don't know. I have free stigmata too. Most of the people here know each other since we were raised in the same monastery, but nobody seems to have ever seen him before. They say he's from the capital. I wonder what he was doing before this. It's so just awful. I wouldn't want to risk catching some disease from him. Actually, maybe that's why he doesn't cling to people. Their docile expressions change completely. Is it that funny to them? I zone out, unable to keep up. Maya's face, meanwhile, is a nice contrast to mine. She still looks like she's a second away from crying, just like the first time I met her. Maya falls silent again. She probably doesn't know what to say either. But apparently, Sekorit's been working here for a while, making him perfect to foist the more annoying jobs onto. Yeah, just like this morning, with guys like him, whoever foists the pain in the bad job onto someone else first is the winner. Oh, not to say you two were a pain in the butt, really. Just, you know what I'm saying, right? So he has seniority here. Not bad for someone so measly. You're pretty cute, Maya, so you might actually be able to show his interest if you cling to him enough. I couldn't. Hey, keep your word ideas to yourself. He might be into younger girls, you know? After all, men are all... What? With Chiron right next to them, Blondie bends forward and whispers that into Maya's ears. They both go wide-eyed in surprise upon hearing it. Chiron laughs. Cut that out, she says, giving Blondie a light push on the shoulder. I watch as the two of them start cackling. She probably kept her voice down on purpose. Even with a good view of her lips moving, I couldn't make out what she said. I laughed flatly. To be honest, I could kind of guess from context. Poor Maya, she's giving a troubled, empty smile again. Idly, I wonder why they're doing this in front of me anyway. Did they forget I'm here? That's when my eyes meet with hers, as she loves. The girl just nearby leans on her shoulder and directs a narrow-eyed gaze at me. She doesn't laugh loudly. If anything, it's more like a titter. That's when I become sure this wasn't a coincidence or a misunderstanding. They made the joke at my expense. Is this all a warning or something? I don't have time to think about it any more than that, though. A bell rings in the distance, and the girls' faces shift back to their cool, serious facades. This won't do. I have to get back to work. Oh, lunchtime is over. I wish I could go back to being a trainee. You're leaving? Yes, and if you're not busy, I suggest taking a look around. If you don't make an effort to get used to this place, you'll start getting lost all the time. The temple is super big. See you later, little kittens. Right, best of luck with your work too. Now then, where should I go? Oh, we do have choices here. Flower garden, workplace, infirmary. Is that a hug? I want to go to the flower garden. Is that a cookie? It's a coochie. Thank you for the coochie. Magic. Oh, wow! While wandering around outside our department headquarters, Maya suddenly stops dead in her tracks. I spy a crude arch entwined with roses reaching upward to the sky. The petals are wilted, as if from neglect. Can we just go in? There's a couple benches around, so why not? Maya sits on one of them, staring fixedly at the dirt packet between the bricks in a nearby wall. Oh, I sit down, keeping a watchful eye on her. Her unexpected cry of surprise causes me to jump in my seat. What's wrong? Look, there's a pod sprouting. She's so poor. Goodness. I can't, that little smile. You're right, seems like they're managing to thrive, huh? Even in this abandoned garden, they're finding a way. Impressive. Do you like flowers? Like them? I guess so. So why not come out here when things get rough and you need a break? Ah, that's so sweet. You could even water the flowers sometimes, I bet. You really think they'd let me do that? I'm sure it's fine. Look, I'll help too. Okay then. I like Maya as a character so much. She's like a silent type. Still does talk. Still is cute. And is also all like ah wah 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 wah. But in a composed manner, I would say. Infirmary. Temple corridor. I proceed through the darkened hallway past the central fountain. It's weird hearing people's voices coming from all around me, and yet the sky is pitch black. The cold smell of marble that's lingered in my nose this whole time suddenly vanishes as soon as I turn the corner. It's replaced by the sweet, buttery scent of baking bread, coming from somewhere close by. I don't think you're supposed to go in there. I'm sure they'd let us off the hook. If we tell them we're new here... I don't know. Before our argument can progress further, the door flies open, her yelp of surprise ringing in my ears. Well, well. Ah! You two again? Are you on break? Don't just stand there, come on in. Are you sure? I don't know. Great, don't mind if I do. No. Infirmary. Upon entering, I'm greeted by a warm, pure white room. Filled with the same smell of baking bread, I notice it from the hallway. Bread. Bread is yummy, bread is good, bread is soft, bread is nice. It's almost enough to make me forget the horrific scene I just witnessed. How can a place like this even exist in a building as big as the temple? I hear a quiet cackling sound and turn to see a gloomy-looking man poking away at a typewriter on the other side of a partition. His attention remains fixed on the paper in front of him, squinting in concentration, seemingly unaware of our presence. Oh gosh, seems like we just ran out of snacks. Would you two like coffee or tea? No, thanks. Have any milk? I sure do. 1 milk for gaps, coming right up. Milk it is. This lady is the first person I talked to upon arriving here at the temple. She has a kind of voice that's warm and bubbly. Listening to her always puts me at ease. She never seems to wear the traditional priest habit, however, preferring to wear a white coat that makes her look like a doctor. To make up for it, though, rosary beads hang from her breast pocket like a brooch, glittering in the light. It's hot, so don't burn yourself. Wanna take a better look at the outfit? It's pretty simple, I see. I appreciate it. Thanks, so what exactly do you do here anyway? Well, gosh, what do I do? I guess I never gave you a proper introduction, huh? My name is Gret. I'm a part of the health department. You probably don't know what that is yet, Basically, we help diagnose and take care of anyone who gets sick here. Oh, kinda like a doctor. You can call me that if you'd like. Honestly, it'd make me really happy. I'm always here to chat if you ever have any health concerns. You can also stop by if you just want a cup of tea and a cookie. A coochie! Thank you so much for everything. Wow, I didn't realize nice folks like you existed in the temple. You bet we do. The temple is full of great people. Did you already meet the bishop for your department? They were apparently a little too busy today. That'll happen. Speaking of which, I'm dying to know what they're like. Hako Ekran is truly amazing. Their story is pretty unusual, actually. They started working here as a bishop when they were only a few years older than you two. They're really strong and the nicest person around, a truly wonderful human being who routinely goes above and beyond to help those around them. I'm sure you'll like them too. I'll probably understand better when I meet them myself. Did you go way back? Well, yeah, I guess we do. The longer I have to assess a person's worth, the stronger my bond with them grows. I hope you two are able to share that kind of relationship. You've got a lot of hard work ahead, so stay strong and do your best. I'm rooting for you. Thanks. We'll be seeing you. Latter is the workplace. Okay, here we are. Managing to work my way against the flow of people, I find myself in an area filled with smoke and stinking of burnt char. Is something on fire over there? You know the cleanup crews in charge of picking up garbage, right? I think they're burning it. Oh yeah? Then this place must be one of our workstations, huh? Seems that way. Wait, are you really going over there? Panic in her eyes. Yeah, sure, what about you? Don't want to? Well, my nose is burning enough just standing over here. It's not that I don't want to go, but maybe could you go for both of us? There's somewhere else I need to be. Yeah? Well, if you're busy, then you should go. I'll catch up with you later. I'd wonder where is she going to. A part of me feels bad living here on her own, but I want to visit as many places today as possible. And there's only one of me. Despite the space looking large enough to comfortably hold around 10 people, it seems everyone took off immediately after work, leaving the place empty and quiet. Looking around the room lined with rusted containers and not much else, I hear a familiar sound and turn to find an equally familiar face. Sakura's a short distance away, and just like yesterday, he's pulling a cart behind him with one hand. Hey! Don't ignore me, still got work to do. You're way more devout than you appear. The closer I get, the thicker and more cloying the burnt smell grows. It's an almost animalistic stench mixed with the sweetness of rot. I caught occasional whiffs of a similar scent back in my village. Is this place some kind of crematorium? Something like that. He could have gone into more detail about what he meant. Instead, he simply shuts his mouth. And then Sakura returns to the task at hand with exemplary work ethic. Watching him, my thoughts turn back to the incident at lunch. For being such a skinny guy, I wonder what he'd deal with food is. Partially distracted by random thoughts, I absentmindedly notice a blue-black mark on the nape of his neck half hidden by his hair. Stigmata? It's an oddly difficult to see spot. You've got some trash stuck to you. When I brush the white piece of food from his neck, his shoulders momentarily stiffen, as if flinching back from my touch. Then he hunches over. He turns back to look at me, his eyes wide with shock, before immediately averting his gaze. Even the chickens in the backyard were never this wary of me. Sakura's over-the-top reaction is slightly off-putting. If there's nothing for you to do here, then go home already. Come on, I said let's talk. You've been ignoring me all day. You and me? Talk about what exactly? Look, I get it, you're a grouchy guy with an awful personality. I don't care how you treat me, but Maya doesn't deserve your sarcasm. I thought it was obvious, but Maya's a girl. What does her gender have to do with her ability to get her job done? He basically straight up said she can do her job. Seriously? And what would you do if Maya heard you just now? You know, it wouldn't hurt you to be a little more nice when asking others for favors. You were scouted to work here, and yet all you've done from day one is chase women. You truly are a scum. Shut up and listen, smartass. You've been running your mouth so much I wanna slap you. Who do you think you are? You're the one who needs to shut up. The only guy running his mouth around here is you. This is going nowhere. The dual flank of a container hitting the ground echoes loudly in the silence. He's had his back to me this whole time, and I barely have time to register what's going on before he turns to face me. He glares, looking straight into my eyes, barely suppressing his anger. Letting out an exasperated sigh, he slowly begins walking toward me. You. What makes you think you have the right to show your nose into other people's business? What did you say? You don't have the faintest idea what I'm talking about, huh? Tell me, as part of the disposal team, what exactly can you do in the underworld? Alert and wide awake, I found myself reeling with discomfort faced with such an unforeseen situation. Disposal team? The underworld? Is he talking about the SAIN SHEOL cleanup department? You have to find someone else to wipe your ass. Get out of here, go home and get to bed so you can get up on time tomorrow. Yikes. While I stand there, uselessly trying to untangle the words that lay clumped together in a mess in my throat, he brushes past me on his way who knows where. I'm once again left behind, unable to speak up in my defense. Alone and unable to bear this abominable silence, I trudge off, feet dragging behind me. His attitude, coupled with his emotionless warning, only incites my rebellious nature more. What an insufferable prick! I heard that first impressions speak a lot about a person. And if it's true, then that guy is an absolute piece of shit. The bad reputation that precedes him makes far more sense now. That look of pure hostility on his face when he met me for the first time, his intentional choice of words, means solely to piss people off. Thanks to him, my thoughts are a damn mess. Well, looks like it's all downhill from here. Temple front gate. The sky is pitch black. I have a feeling my sisters are long gone by now. Are you gonna head back too? Huh? But what about you? I was thinking of spending a little more time taking a look around. What would you do if you get lost? Don't worry, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's always knowing where I am. I watched Maya trudge off, her shoulders slumped before giving a full body stretch. Time to get a better grasp of the neighborhood. Where should I go? Let's go over here. What is this place? The blue-black color of the sky has blended into the air around me, making it even colder. They told me the capital was chilly, but I didn't think it would be this frigid. Is it night now, or is it actually morning? The sky has been dark since this morning, so I have no way of knowing what time of day it actually is. As my surroundings rapidly darken, an uncertainty I was trying not to think about crawls up from the bottom of my mind. No, I can't. I can't be lost, can I? I'm pretty sure I'm not very far from where I started, but this deep, overgrown, unpaved path is definitely enough to scare me. That's just great, I say, admitting to my blunder. I scratch the back of my head. There's no point standing around like this. So I turn around to go back the way I came, but then, on the other side, I see what looks like a building. It has huge glass windows, plus a big cylindrical tower or something. If I'm not mistaken, that's a chapel, but something seems off about it. It dominates the space around it, like some abandoned building. It's only thing in this completely overgrown outdoor area. I approach it to check things out, still nobody around. Through the dirty windows, I see vines growing up the rotting walls like a monster messily devouring a meal. Whatever the keys, it certainly doesn't seem to be in use. Scrape, scrape. I hear the sound of something scratching along the dirt and sand. If that's a mountain beast, I'm in trouble. I hurry and hide myself, then look in the direction I heard it. Surprisingly, as my eyes turn that way, I see a person standing there alone. There's no mistaking it. Not considering the utterly black night sky, and the pure white light radiating from them. Oh? The person has white hair, neatly tied at the back, and wears a rose corsage in it. The white light is strange and incongruent with the surrounding darkness instead of lurking within it. It controls the space around it, drawing the attention of any would-be viewers. I've never met anyone like that before, but their expression is so cold that I have trouble feeling regular human goodwill toward them. I can't even make out their gender. Let their wide, intricately decorated sleeves flutter us. With a solemn face, they walk through the underbrush, across all the branches and leaves scattered on the ground. The more I look at them, the less they seem like a person, and the more they seem like a skillfully produced work of art come to life. The moment I realize I'm staring too much, their eyes sharpen and they cast their gaze my way. I duck down to the ground before our eyes meet. Wait, why did I just avoid them? Immediately I feel enough tension to make my heart burst. My pulse quickens, and suddenly the sounds of all the nighttime insects seem magnitudes much louder than before. A short silence follows. Finally I hear them walking away. Sweat drips from me, despite how cold I was before. I quietly get myself up off the ground, casting a gaze toward where they were, but nobody's there. They already left. I feel like I just had a waking dream while standing up. Will I make it back to the dorm in time? It seemed like a good idea to get back quickly before I really let myself be blinded by it. Second day. I open my leaden eyelids, and unfamiliar white seeps into my groggy consciousness, an unfamiliar sailing. The white ceiling in question is stained in several places and seems lower than normal. Even with that awareness, it's still completely foreign to me. Morning? Fragments of broken dreams drift through my still dream-fogged mind before vanishing. I must have slept pretty soundly. I guess all that walking around I did on my first day had a positive effect on my sleep. Scratching my head, my hair a mass of curls, attacking my surroundings. Reality begins dawning on me when I see the pile of clothes that I left scattered on the ground the night before. I should really put my stuff away. As expected, no one came to wake me up. I might have arrived only yesterday, but today is technically my first official day of work. The situation outside my window looks unchanged from yesterday, and also that I begin to question the passage of time itself. Dormitory. What should I do? Go to work? Dormitory hallway. I have to make sure to lock the door to my room before I leave. The key I was given yesterday is so small that without some way to attach it to myself, like on a string, the chances of losing it are quite high. As soon as I shut the door to my room, the door next to mine flies open and this velvet-looking blondie I've come to know fairly well steps out. Well, what the hell? Get dressed. Yeps, morning. You weren't in your room last night. I'm not sure where you were, but pretty bold spending the night out in the town on your first day. The only one bold around here is you. What in God's name are you even wearing? What? This? I just woke up and forgot to change. Oops, I'm such a klutz. What the hell? Glancing down at herself, she spins around on the spot, posing like a model in a magazine. Her outfit doesn't leave much to the imagination. Do all city women dress like this? Do you usually forget to get dressed? Go back and change already. So, honest opinion, how do I look? Good enough. Yeah? She's absolutely pulling my leg here. So you stopped by my room last night, huh? We're neighbors, aren't we? I had to say hello. Well, for your information, I wasn't out late because I wanted to be. I went to take a look around and got lost. The temple is massive. You must have had a great time. Don't worry, it will fall into place soon enough. Just don't be late tonight, okay? I wanna visit later. Oh, also, could you tell everyone I'm gonna be late? Why? The girl averts her gaze, ruffling her incredibly toasted hair in agitation, clearly annoyed, although I'm not sure why. Look, sometimes girls have these days where we feel bloated and sick. Do you really need me to spell it out for you? Well, fine, but if you don't put some clothes on, you're gonna catch a cold. Hilarious as always. Cleanup debt office. Her high-pitched laughter follows me as I head to the catering spot for our department. The cleanup department, located in the most dimly lit corner of the building, always seems bathed in shadows. The closer I get, the more humid it feels. Good morning. I croak, my voice oddly deep. The tension in my shoulders is even affecting my throat. A chorus of muffled voices returns the greeting. Although it's hard for me to tell where they're coming from, since no one looks up. Those who reflexively glance my way quickly lose interest. Morning, Maya. Well, I am the new guy here. I find myself calling out to the only familiar face in the room. Oh, Caps, morning. Did you make it back alright last night? With only her face turning in my direction, her ladylike posture makes her look almost like a peony. She's adorable. I told you I'm pretty good at finding my way around. How did you sleep? I found the pillows here are kinda lumpy and uncomfortable. Hey you, did you come here by yourself? Oh, you here too? Just answer the question. Where's that girl? She's still in her room? Blondie said she'd be late. Pretending to be sick to get out of work again, huh? She said something about feeling bloated and sick sometimes. Excuses, that's what she always says to get out of morning meetings. You should know better, besides I'm the one who's gonna get in trouble for it. First of all, it's way too early in the morning for this. For some reason, the cleanup department meets earlier than the others. With a high proportion of uneducated lower-class youngsters in the cleanup crew, it's necessary for the bishop to teach them the fundamentals. The younger priests arrive before the workday starts for class, with the more experienced and older priests filtering in some time later. I had the proper education, you know. For some reason, the temple seems to attract mannerless country bumpkins with no common sense. Like most to the flame, and it's normal folks like us who pay for it. What a nuisance! Achu instantly fills the room. It's probably from the way I shut my mouth halfway through her diatribe, though I had no intention of doing so. Maya shoots me an uneasy glance. I have a hunch she thinks I'm offended. She didn't mean you, of course, Gaps. Did I stutter? I mean exactly what I said, for crying out loud. Suddenly, I see a tall shadow outside the window and hear the sharp click of heels. The sound instantly dispels the suffocating silence. The door bangs open, accompanied by a cheerful "good morning" and a chorus of replies echoes through the room, louder than when I arrived. As they step inside, memories of what happened the night before sucker punch me in the brain. It's the same person. Unable to return their greeting with my mouth hanging open, all I can do is stare, my eyes following their every move. Their design is so cool. How's everyone doing today? Lately it seems like the weather's been playing by its own rules. Another chilly day, huh? I especially love the hair, the shapes of each piece of the hair strands. And also this piece of clothing here. Super fluffy and wavy. So be sure to take good care of them so you don't get sick. Their long loose skirt fluttering around their legs with the slightest movement seems in direct contrast by their white hair tied back in a tight bun. Haku Ekaran, the cleanup department's bishop. I swear I saw them in the forest yesterday, but... Huh? They're very different from what I expected. Shh! Be quiet! Her warning comes a moment too late. The bishop's eyes meet mine, which have been glued to them since they walked through the door. Compared to yesterday, they seem far more relaxed. Ah, yes, perfect timing. I have some great news. We have a new brother and sister who will be joining our department from today on. And this is our first proper face-to-face meeting. And this oh, wait, isn't it? My apologies about yesterday. I had urgent matters to attend to. They speak in an oddly low voice, as if trying to hide their naturally more high-pitched one. Their laid-back drawl combined with their unequally odd pronunciation leaves me struggling to understand them. Meanwhile, their eyes continuously dart around the classroom with sharp, quick movements. Now then, you two, go on and introduce yourselves. I cough quietly, trying to shake off the awkwardness of having everyone's eyes on me. It'd be great if I could speak without my voice cracking. My name's Gaps. I come from an area fairly far from here. With this being my first time here at both the temple and the capital itself, I'm still pretty lost. I heard I might be transferred to a different department once my probation is over, but for now, it's nice to meet all of you. The bishop, who'd been listening with an expression of bewilderment on their face, belatedly collapsed in response. Did I say something strange? It doesn't bother me. But I'm worried about Maya. I glance over to see her frozen in fear, her entire body stiff as a board, her eyes glued to her fingertips. Yep! Her sister claps her hands together, breaking the silence before it can deepen any further. Maya looks so miserable, legs shaking with fear and unable to look up from the floor, that I can't bring myself to watch. She's like a newborn baby animal. I'm Maya Albath. Nice to meet you. Well, an Albath girl, huh? How adorable. I like with my intro there is some scattered applause, though it comes off more like mockery than a genuinely warm welcome. I have a feeling it's probably directed more at me than her. Crap, why is the disposal team looking this way? For someone who usually stares people down with overbearing confidence, she's had her gaze focused at her feet this whole time, and I can hear her mumbling and swearing under her breath. Seemingly unaware, the being bishop opens their mouth once more. It's this lack of awareness that makes everyone around them suffer. I wish the two of you the best of luck. Go get them! The bishop then immediately dives into a history lesson. They talk about the prophets, stigmata, the rotting sea, and the barren wastelands unfit for human life. I'm pretty proud of myself for not dozing off halfway through. What we do for others, we do for the Lord, our God. He watches over us always. It's about time for the meeting to start, Your Excellency. Secret steps in, suddenly interrupting the bishop's edifying sermon, albeit seemingly without a hint of malice. His voice isn't loud or commanding, but it's enough to instantly change the atmosphere in the room. The bishop's eyes suddenly widen in surprise. Well, my, there I go, losing track of time again. Now then, everyone, make sure to help your two new colleagues out if you see them having trouble, and you too, do what you're told, okay? Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Speaking of which, do you have any questions? The uncomfortable silence between us is once again thankfully broken. Doesn't seem like they do. In that case, be sure to love one another today, always and forever. And with that, the bishop gracefully departs, followed closely by Secret, cloaked in a black veil. Even the way the bishop moves is bizarre. The detachment between their joints makes them look like a strong marionette, as if they had hold no control over their own limbs. It's almost as if they might fall at any moment, needing someone by their side at all times to catch them. And almost as proof of this, Secret's eyes remain glued to the bishop's back as they live together. The door closes, and once their footsteps fade into the distance, the noise level within the cleanup department quickly returns to normal. The bishop seems pretty laid back. The stories I've heard paint her very differently. So the way she talks, she sounds like a princess reigning over of a field of flowers. Wait, you're saying that person is a woman? I think so. You don't often see a bishop with white hair, it's kinda funny. But do you know what's funnier? I hear she was transferred here from a higher position of power. I'm not following, what do you mean? Her eyes lit up as I take the bait. Her former awkward boredom completely gone. Is gossiping about others related fun for her? She's the daughter of a cardinal. That's how she gets away doing whatever she wants. We should feel blessed being dumped in this godforsaken department to clean up corpses, right? By the way, you better not go spreading any of this around, and especially not in front of that annoying jerk. You mean Secret? There's no need to remember that sleazebag's name. After finally getting her voice back, poor Maya once again firmly clamps her mouth shut. I can tell if they get along or not. Knowing she'll just keep picking on Maya, I speak up in an attempt at diverting her attention. Oh, why is that? Secret hates the bishop more than anyone else on the disposal team. Just hearing her name causes his face to wrinkle up in disgust. You're serious? But they just left together. He's her assistant for the time being. His reason's not strong enough for anything but a dumb position, though he's aiming for her spot. Oh, you need to know, it's a huge mess. The sooner this rat's nest goes under, the better, in my opinion. What do you have against him? Look, just drop it already. You have eyes. You can do your own snooping on your own time. You get wrinkles if you keep scolding like that. Oh, for crying out loud! Looks like she's on the warpath again. Conversation between two women passing by floats in, and the chairwoman phrases in place. I wish I could work with my sister too. Do you even have one? It's the type of conversation we probably wouldn't have heard if we weren't paying attention, but just that snippet is enough to turn her face bright red. She's clearly run out of patience. Unable to hold back any longer, she vents her anger out on the defenseless chair next to her before turning her death glare directly on us. You're embarrassing me by existing. Can't you tell how annoyed I am? Or do I have to spell it out for you? What the hell? After shouting at us, she stomps out. A look of friendship rage clearing her face. It doesn't bother me, but to leave Maya behind like that, She hangs her head depressed. That girl is quite annoying, too loud, too angry. I don't like her. And the Susiangi guy as well. So far, I don't have my likings for him. I don't know what to do today. My sisters aren't around, and even Q left first thing in the morning. Don't worry about it, Maya. Sorry. We already have a basic understanding of what needs done, right? We can just do what we did yesterday, and if we somehow mess up, no one will blame us. They will blame our seniors who abandoned us without proper instructions. I guess you're right. When I'm alone, I start to panic. My attempt at smoothing over the situation seems to work, as her anxiety starts to slowly melt away, and I didn't accidentally say the wrong thing this time. I'm not someone who tends to care about other people, but I like to avoid seeing Maya cry at all costs. While my reason for doing so isn't all that clear, on one hand, it kind of is. Basically, it's a pain in the butt if she gets upset and starts sobbing. The last thing I want is to be stuck with a girl who's bawling her eyes out, Maya or otherwise. Maybe she feels the same way. For the first time in my life, I find myself earnestly praying the peacefulness of a boring, ordinary life continues. Everyone's personal files lay in the most conspicuous spot in the department room, meaning we don't have to look far to find them. Our responsive binders are buried among the pile. Each of our files contain a single sheet of paper with a location, date, and a simple job description written on it. Seems easy enough. Do you understand any of this, Maya? For the most part. It seems like we get a new one of these every day. I wonder who puts them in our folders. Who knows? Maybe the bishop. She's truly amazing. Residential area. Nothing bad happened. In the end, we simply psyched ourselves up for nothing. All we had to do was clean up a dirty house. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel nauseated a couple of times, but compared to what I dealt with yesterday, it was a breeze. Along with Maya, my thoughts randomly turned back to yesterday. Maya is not good at her job, that's simply a fact. She can sweep the floor at least, but she's pretty clumsy, and anything more is entirely out of the question. After mopping, she tramps across the still wet floor, leaving messy footprints behind, and has no idea how to wash windows. Having to redo all her work means what should be a simple task takes twice as long. And helping Maya with her tasks means I can focus on mine. Her mood quickly turns as gloomy as the weather outside. Let's head back. Huh? I don't mind coming back again later, to finish everything up. Besides, it looks like it might rain soon, and I feel bad making you wait. I can go home by myself, plus I don't want you to have to come back here twice. I don't mind, I was thinking of taking a break anyway, ready to go? Okay. Oh. Thanks to the sudden downpour, the road leading back to the temple is a muddy swamp. The grooves in the road are pretty deep, and I know one wrong step means I'll be drowning in muck. I'm able to make a path through the sludge, but Maya, who's right behind me, seems stuck, waving her arms frantically in front of her body. Are you okay? If you rush, you end up landing face first in the mud, so be careful. Here, take my hand. I take both of her anxious hands in mine. Being so naturally shy, she cries out, her eyes wide in surprise, before squeezing my hand tightly. She's able to force her way forward, with the occasional pause to carefully extract her foot from the sludge. It's because of those ankle boots of hers. There's a reason why folks in the cleanup crew tend to wear tall, heavier boots. It takes a while, but we finally make it safely back to dry ground. Well, more or less. My boots and the hem of my habit are both so caked in mud that it's impossible to shake the grime loose. Maya, who steps onto solid ground a moment after I do, looks pale as a sheet, though I quickly understand why. Her formerly white socks are now stained back with mud, just like mine. It didn't take us that long, but the hand Maya clung to is numb from her death grip. I notice her usually pristine hands are spotted here and there with dirt, thanks to the hard work we were doing earlier. Realizing the same thing, her mouth begins to quiver. I'm really sorry, Caps. And then she apologizes again. It seems like ever since we came here, all she does is mutter one apology after another, and find her annoying or obnoxious in the slightest. But no matter how many times I tell her this, she just ends up apologizing even more. It's like each word I say only seems to make her more uncomfortable. All I want in this moment is to hurry back to the temple and rip off my boots, which are filled with dark, black mud. But instead, impressed by how hard she tried to keep up with me without giving up, I slowed down to match Maya's pace. Temple lobby. We arrive back at the temple to find small groups of people scattered here and there around the main hall. It's usually filled with folks around now, but for some reason everyone's focused on the staircase leading up to the second floor. Oh, this art, so pretty. I followed their gaze only to immediately stop in my tracks at the sight before me. 3 people, all dressed ridiculously, are descending the staircase, one after the other. As soon as the 3 appear, all the rest in the vicinity place their palms together, bowing in their direction, almost as if dictated to do so. Very confused, I glance over at Maya, only to find her with her own head bowed in reverence, like everyone else. I'm the odd man out. Well, to be fair, that's normal around here. But I go ahead and bow as well, copying the folks around me. I furtively watch their passage out of the corner of my eye. The person in front is the short guy who asked me about my village, followed by the guy who was with Gret, and finally the bishop from the cleanup department. 1, 2, 3. Shouldn't there be one more, huh? Just as the procession is about to pass us by, I murmur quietly to Maya, head still bowed. She glances at me before beginning to count on her fingers, still bent at the waist. It's probably the bishop from the academics department. Speaking of which, I don't think I know much about that department. They basically decipher ancient texts and research things only very smart people are accepted. Wow, so that's it, huh? Yeah, actually, my big sister has always dreamed of getting in, but no matter how hard she studies, it's not enough. Oh, but please don't tell her I told you that, she'll get angry at me again. You two from the disposal team, don't just stand there, go get cleaned up. The priest barks at us as they walk by, reminding us of something that completely slipped both our minds. The mud clicked on my pants is a dried up break of mud by now. I glance over to see Maya looking down at herself, blushing furiously. Poor Maya, I'm gonna go on ahead and wash myself off. You should hurry up and get changed as well. Are you heading back early today? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, but I really have to go. Sure, be careful on your way back. I'll see you later. My hurries off, but upon realizing she's tracking mud everywhere, slows down as she heads deeper inside the temple. My opinion of her doesn't change, even if she's dressed in rags and kicked in mud. But I can tell she doesn't feel the same way. The cleanup department is the only one with 2 showers, one in the temple and one in the dorms. Perhaps it's just the time of day, but the shower with the only sight being naked male flesh, as far as the eye can see, is an abomination from any perspective, at least to me. I have no plans on staying long anyway. I'm not a huge fan of how humid it gets in here. The wetness in the air is so oppressive, it makes it hard to breathe. And the faucet doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Either the water's scalding hot or freezing cold, no in-betweens. I'm already sick of having to take these many showers. Temple corridor. Having heard maybe a little too much, I arrive at the cafeteria to find no sight of Maya. The 2 seniors who'd gone off with her are here, which means she's probably just taking her time. Standing in the doorway, waves of people move in and out around me. Each time someone sits down, whether alone or in pairs, a musky scent wafts into the air. It's the stench of death, something you can wash away with soap and water. It's inescapable, enveloping everyone who works here. I hear people constantly say they'll never get used to it, and yet it seems that they have. I personally can't stand it, but my discomfort has already become part of my daily life. Maya's face naturally surfaces from my jumble of thoughts. I remember how she looked in her muddy boots, her skirt an embarrassing, wrinkled, solid mess. I can't help but worry about her, and also that it's kind of comical. She must smile sometimes, right? It seems like an obvious fact, but the only image my mind can conjure up is of her bowing, her face a mask of misery. The picture of her that sprang to mind gradually begins to solidify. She's still nowhere to be seen. I have a strong hunch that Maya's probably skipping dinner tonight, and so I hurry to grab some bread for myself before it runs out. I guess a part of me misses her too, I don't really know why, and I can't seem to escape the putrid scent that lingers in the air, clinging to the tip of my nose. I should really study the floor plan of the temple so I don't get lost anymore. Now then, where should I go? Cinnamon buns, give me a moment. I want to check how long this demo is, because honestly I would feel like stopping the stream here. Give me just a moment, okay? Okay, I see that we're basically halfway through it. So let's pick where we to go, and we're gonna end the stream here. This evening, I want to play Uzonatsu, possibly. Because the girls love visual novel. So, where should I go? Flower garden, training grounds, workplace, library, infirmary. Flower garden. And this is where we do save the game and end the stream. We're gonna continue it next time. We're going to complete this demo. The game looks pretty interesting to me. I did imagine the first part to be less calm than it is right now, but nonetheless it being like longish, as in nothing actually is happening so far, just getting introduced to the place and characters and whatnot. I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy the atmosphere a lot, and the characters, both the designs and the personalities. Scientists say that Gyepi might be the cutest thing in the omniverse. Is that so? So Cinnamons, thank you kindly for stopping by for my stream. I enjoyed going through the demo of this visual novel and can't wait to continue it because I hope there will be some plot twist or something exciting awaiting us. And okay. As I don't have a fixed schedule, I usually do warn beforehand on my social media before my streams. As I did mention, I am planning to stream in the evening as well, possibly Uzonatsu or something else that we shall continue, that is. I must investigate, please do so. So here are my social media that you can check out in case you want to view my content and the possible warning beforehand before the streams. Here is also the Discord server. Thank you for the choco. How did you know I was thinking about chocolate the whole time that I did stream? Yesterday I did get to eat the Easter bunny of chocolate, and since then I'm craving even more chocolate. I'm in your head. Oh, so you are the melted brain cell? Interesting. And this is my Discord server where you're always welcome to hop on to, especially if you want to get real-time notifications coming to all of my content. I'm super happy you decided to stop by my stream. Let's see whom to raid today, okay? We're gonna raid someone. As usual, it is... Why is it that all the times that I want to raid someone, they're on Be Right Back? I wanted to raid 괰ᴍᴍᴜ, but they seem to be on Be Right Back. But I think they're gonna return soon. Wow. Fox in the box next. The fox in the box was the Christmas fox. So, this is the right message. Keep you ready for Gyepi to copy paste. And this is the version with no emotes in case you prefer this one. And we're going to read 괰ᴍᴍᴜ. I believe they will be back soon. This is a pretty cool fox VTuber. They're a fox, right? Give me a second. Sorry. Fox, not a wolf. Right? Yeah, a fox it is. And they're a really cool artist, so I wanted to raid them. So let's begin the raid. You can always put the fox in a box. That's an interesting observation too. That is true indeed. Let's begin the raid and we're gonna see each other later. I'm going to warn you beforehand on all of my social media, especially Twitter and Discord, that I use the most. And thank you for stopping by. See you soon. Bye bye!